It was just another freezing evening on the edge of town, where the wind howled through the cracks of rundown houses, and mothers wrapped their children in whatever blankets they had left. Among them was Mia Carter, a single mother barely getting by, living in a tiny two-room shack with her two children, Lily, who had just turned 8, and Sammy, barely 4, always clinging to her leg like he was afraid the world would blow him away. Mia worked odd jobs when she could find them, cleaning motels, sorting cans, sometimes waiting in long lines at the community center just to get a warm meal. Life hadn't been kind, but she never let her children see her break. She told them bedtime stories about castles and magic, even though they were sharing one mattress on the cold floor with a broken heater sputtering in the corner. To them, their mother was a hero. And to Mia, her children were the only thing worth holding on for. That night, the storm had rolled in faster than expected. Snow was falling thick, the kind that buried cars and silenced towns. Most people had shut their doors, pulled down the blinds, and turned up the heat. But Mia had gone outside for one last check. She was used to the wind biting her cheeks, used to the ache in her bones. What she wasn't used to was what she found on the edge of the road, half covered in snow. A man, a stranger, unconscious. He looked like he'd been in an accident, though there was no car in sight. His coat was torn, his hands scraped and purple from the cold. She couldn't tell if he was breathing at first. She crouched down, brushing snow off his face, and her heart skipped. He looked barely alive. Sammy came running out behind her, barefoot despite her warnings, and she quickly turned. "Go inside," she snapped, wrapping her arms around the man. He didn't stir. She should have called for help, but the phone line was dead from the storm, and her old cell had been without charge for days. So she did the only thing she could think of. She dragged the stranger inside. The kids looked at her with wide, confused eyes as she laid him near the heater and covered him with every blanket they had. "Who is he, Mama?" Lily asked. "I don't know," Mia whispered. "But he'll die if we don't help him." The hours ticked by slowly. The man didn't move. Mia pressed warm cloths to his head and fed him tiny sips of water when she could. He was burning up, his fever frightening. Still, she didn't give up. She talked to him, telling him things about her life, about her kids, even about her late husband who'd died 2 winters ago in a factory accident. She didn't know why she was talking. It wasn't like he could hear, but something about him felt different. By dawn, the storm had eased a little. The man groaned for the first time, his eyelids fluttering. Mia rushed to his side, hoping for more. "You're safe now," she whispered. "You're in my home." He blinked slowly. "You're safe now," Mia whispered again, her voice soft, a little unsure. The man blinked a few more times, trying to make sense of where he was. His lips parted like he wanted to speak, but all that came out was a weak breath. Lily peeked from behind the curtain that separated their sleeping corner from the rest of the room. "Is he awake now?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yes, baby," Mia said, "but he needs rest." Sammy crawled close, his little hands clutching his stuffed bear with the missing ear. He looked at the man, eyes wide with curiosity. "Is he gonna be okay, Mama?" "I think so," Mia replied, even though she wasn't sure at all. The man tried to sit up, but winced and dropped back down. Mia knelt beside him. "Don't move too much. You're hurt. We found you outside last night in the snow. You nearly froze to death." He slowly nodded, his expression tired. "Thank you," he managed. "I didn't think anyone would stop." Mia offered him a cup of warm tea. It was mostly water and a hint of old lemon, but it was all she had. "Most people wouldn't," she said, not trying to sound proud. "But my kids were watching. I couldn't teach them to walk away from someone who needs help." He took a sip, his hands trembling. "I don't remember how I got here." "That's okay," Mia said gently. "Rest first. We'll figure everything else out later." For the next few days, the stranger stayed in Mia's small home. He barely spoke, but she noticed little things. How he watched the kids play. How he flinched at loud noises. How he looked lost when he thought no one was watching. He didn't say his name, and Mia didn't push. He was healing slowly, but the wounds on his hands, the bruises on his ribs, the way he sometimes mumbled in his sleep, all of it pointed to something more than just an accident. The kids took to him fast. Lily offered him her only book to read. Sammy would sit beside him and hand him blocks, expecting him to build towers together. The stranger never complained. He smiled, even if it was faint, and helped when he could, even sweeping the snow off the porch when his strength allowed. Still, Mia felt uneasy. There were questions swirling in her mind. Where had he come from? What was he running from? And why had no one come looking for him? Then one evening, as the wind howled again, and the walls of their home rattled with cold, he sat beside her after putting the kids to sleep. "My name's Nathan," he said quietly. "I didn't mean to bring trouble." Mia turned to him. "What kind of trouble?" He hesitated. "The kind that follows you, even when you think you've outrun it." Mia didn't know what to say. She wasn't a stranger to pain or fear. But something in his voice sent a chill down her spine. "I was in the wrong place," Nathan continued. "Saw something I shouldn't have. Some people don't like witnesses." Mia's stomach twisted. She knew the world could be cruel, but the idea of her home becoming a hiding place from danger made her nervous. But she looked at her kids sleeping peacefully, and then at Nathan, pale and worn, but not cruel. "I don't have much," she said, "but we don't turn away people in need. That's not how I was raised." Nathan looked at her with quiet gratitude. "You're risking a lot." Mia nodded. "So are you." The next morning, there was a knock at the door. Mia froze. Hardly anyone ever came to their house. She peeked through the curtain. Two men in dark coats stood outside, their faces unreadable. One of them held something, a photo. "Maybe." "Mama, who is it?" Lily asked, rubbing her eyes. "Stay here," Mia said firmly. She cracked the door open. "Can I help you, ma'am?" one of the men said, flashing a badge. "We're looking for someone." A man, mid-30s, tall, possibly injured. "Have you seen anyone unusual around here?" Mia swallowed. She felt her hands sweat. "Just me and my kids," she said, keeping her voice calm. "No visitors." The man nodded slowly, studying her face. "If you see anything or anyone, call us. He's dangerous." When they left, Mia locked the door and leaned her head against it, heart pounding. Dangerous. The word echoed in her ears. That night, she confronted Nathan. "They came looking for you." Nathan didn't act surprised. "I figured they would." "Are you dangerous, Nathan?" she asked. "Because I've got 2 kids, and I can't let anything happen to them." He looked her in the eyes. "Not to you, not to them. I swear." She believed him. Somehow, she did, but that didn't erase the fear. Days passed, and Mia started noticing small changes. Someone had been going through her garbage. Once, she found footprints by the back window too large to be hers, or the kids'. And one afternoon, she caught a black SUV parked down the road. It was gone before she could take a closer look. Nathan stayed alert, but he tried not to let it show in front of the kids. He helped fix things in the house. Found odd jobs online to send small payments Mia refused to accept. "You gave me a roof," he said. "Let me help." But the tension grew. One night, a brick crashed through their front window. Wrapped in it was a note. "He's not who you think he is." Mia called the police. But by the time they arrived, whoever had done it was long gone. The officer asked a lot of questions. Nathan stayed hidden in the back room. Mia didn't know what to tell them anymore. Later, Nathan sat on the floor, bleeding from a cut on his arm caused by the shattered glass. "I never wanted this for you," he said. "Then tell me the truth," Mia said. "All of it." Nathan took a long breath. "I used to work security. One night, I saw something. My boss, he was working with people involved in trafficking. Women, kids. I took a file. I was going to turn it in. Next thing I know, someone tries to run me off the road. I've been running since. They want that file. I hid it." Mia stared at him, horrified. "Do you still have it?" He nodded. "It's in a storage unit. Locked. If I can get to it, it could put a stop to all of this. But they'll kill you before you ever get the chance." "I know," Nathan said quietly. She didn't sleep that night. She sat near the window, watching the street, every sound making her heart race. Her kids were asleep, peaceful, trusting her to keep them safe. But what could she do? She had no power, no protection, just a stranger bleeding on her couch, and a storm far worse than snow heading their way. The next morning, Lily came to her with something in her hand. "Mama," she whispered. This was outside. It was a photo of Mia and her children, taken from across the street. On the back, a message was written. "You've made a mistake." Mia's hands shook as she held the photo. Her mind spun with panic, fear, and something else, resolve. They were being watched. Time was running out. "Nathan," she said, walking into the kitchen. "We can't keep hiding." "I know," he said, already pulling on his coat. "It's time to end this." "But how?" she asked. "They'll come after us." Nathan turned to her. "Then we take the file. And we take the risk." And just like that, the decision was made. Mia bundled the kids in warm clothes. Nathan scribbled something on a notepad and handed it to her. "If something happens to me, give this to the police. It's everything." Mia looked at him, fear in her chest. "Are you sure about this?" He nodded. "I'd rather die trying to fix it than live running forever." As the car pulled out of their snowy driveway, the sun trying to peek through the gray clouds, Mia glanced in the rear-view mirror. A black SUV had just turned the corner and was following them. She didn't say a word. She just gripped the wheel tighter. And with her kids asleep in the back seat and Nathan beside her, they drove toward a truth that could destroy them or save them all. The black SUV didn't make a move for miles. It stayed 2 cars behind, always within sight. Mia's hands trembled slightly as she clutched the steering wheel. Nathan noticed but didn't say anything. He stared straight ahead, his jaw tight. Sammy snored softly in the back seat, and Lily rested her head on her brother's shoulder, unaware of the danger that trailed them like a shadow. "We have to lose them," Mia whispered. Nathan shook his head. "If we run now, they'll follow us forever. We go to the storage unit. We get the file. Then we go to the police. And what if they catch us before we do? Then we fight. Together." It wasn't the answer Mia wanted, but it was the only one they had. She pulled into a small gas station on the edge of town and turned off the engine. The SUV passed slowly, didn't stop, but parked across the road. They were watching. Nathan leaned over. "I'll go inside, grab a prepaid phone, and call my contact. He's a detective. I trust him." Mia nodded, her heart pounding. "Be careful." He slipped out of the car, hood up. The cold air bit at his face, but he didn't flinch. Mia kept her eyes on the SUV. They hadn't moved. Inside, Nathan found the phone and made the call. It rang once, then picked up. "It's me," he said. "I've got the file. I'm bringing it in, but I'm being followed." "Bring it to Station 9. The voice on the other end said. "I'll meet you out back. Don't go to the front entrance." As Nathan returned to the car, Mia exhaled slowly. "What now? We drive. 1 more hour. Then this ends." They pulled back onto the road, the SUV following at a safe distance. The snow had started again, soft flurries falling like ash from a gray sky. The kids stirred but stayed asleep. Mia tried to stay calm, but every turn of the road felt heavier, like the world was holding its breath. Finally, they reached the storage facility. Nathan jumped out first, punched in the code, and opened the door to a rusted unit. Inside, under a pile of old boxes and rags, was a metal briefcase. He pulled it out, dusted it off, and popped it open. Inside were papers, USB drives, and photos, proof of everything. Names, transactions, routes, even undercover footage. Mia stared at it all. This could take down a whole network. "That's the plan," Nathan said. They loaded the case into the car and headed straight for Station 9. But the SUV didn't follow this time. Instead, it vanished somewhere behind them. That made it worse. When they arrived at the station, the back entrance was already cracked open. Nathan motioned for Mia to stay in the car with the kids. "Wait here. If anything happens, drive away. Don't wait for me." "No," she said firmly. "We're in this together." He hesitated, then nodded. They stepped out together, snow crunching under their feet. Just as they reached the door, a figure emerged from the shadows. Not a cop, a man in a dark coat with a sharp look in his eyes. "Hand it over," he said, pointing a small device that glinted in the dim light. Not a gun, but something dangerous all the same. Nathan pushed Mia behind him. "You're not stopping this. It's over." The man smirked. "You think this ends with a file?" But before he could finish, red and blue lights flashed behind them. Several unmarked vehicles screeched into the alley. Officers jumped out, guns drawn. "Drop it. Hands where we can see them." The man didn't resist. He dropped the device and raised his hands, eyes flicking toward Nathan with something between anger and fear. A detective stepped forward. "Nathan, you did good." Nathan handed over the file. "It's all here." The detective nodded, motioned to his team. "This changes everything." Within minutes, the area was secure. The man was arrested, and backup officers confirmed the others involved were already being tracked. The case Nathan had risked everything for was now in safe hands. Back in the car, Mia hugged her kids tightly, whispering reassurances. They had made it. Later that evening, at the police station, Nathan gave his full statement. Mia was cleared of any suspicion, and the officers personally thanked her for her bravery. A week later, they returned home. The broken window had been replaced. and a kind neighbor had dropped off extra blankets and groceries after hearing what Mia had done. Word had spread. But that wasn't the end of it. The detective visited them again, this time with news. Because of what you turned in, the trafficking ring has been taken down. Dozens of lives saved. And there's more one of the victims. She asked to meet the woman who helped bring it all to light. Mia's eyes welled up. She didn't feel like a hero. She had just done what her heart told her. Nathan stayed with them a while longer. The kids adored him. He fixed the heater, helped Lily with her reading, and made Sammy laugh louder than Mia had heard in years. Eventually, he decided to leave town, to start fresh somewhere new, far from the shadows of his past. But before he left, he hugged Mia tightly. You saved my life, and you gave me something to fight for again. You reminded me I could be strong, she replied, her voice thick with emotion. They kept in touch. Letters, phone calls, the occasional visit, and every year on that snowy day, Nathan would send flowers with a note. You changed my life forever. Mia would place the flowers on the kitchen table, smile at her kids, and remember the night she chose to help a stranger instead of walking away. She had no idea then how much that choice would change her life. But it did dash forever, because sometimes, in the middle of a cold night, when the world feels like it's falling apart, kindness is what keeps the light alive, and sometimes, saving someone else is how we end up saving ourselves.